Welcome to the Becoming You show, where limits get torched and possibility takes the mic. I'm Leah Rowling, human in permanent beta, neurostrategist, mom to 3 amazing humans, married to 1 legendary soul, and your no fluff permission slip to stop waiting. Every week, we rewire brain patterns, smash hand-me-down mindsets, and dive into the daring, identity-shifting conversations most people dodge. Ready to turn potential into proof? Grab your pen. Your next chapter starts now. Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to the Becoming You show. I'm your host, Leah Rowling, and I am so excited to be with you today for this conversation in a brand new year. Welcome to the first episode of 2026. That seems so crazy. Seems so crazy to say, to think about, but welcome 2026. Beautiful. Before we dive into the conversation, which is going to be a crucial one, a sacred one, a very much needed one, I want to begin right here with you, because I know 2 very different realities probably exist right now. For some of you, last year was heavy, a year of loss, a year of grief, a year of disappointment, a year of exhaustion, of burnout, of hopelessness, a year of health battles and financial pressure and relational strain, a year where you felt like you were barely keeping your head above water, right? And if that's you, I want you to take a breath. You made it. And I am so glad and I am so proud that you're here. Because sometimes the beginning of a year doesn't feel exciting. It feels complicated. It feels uncertain. It feels like opening your eyes in the morning only to think, God, can I really do another year like that? Or why does everything feel so hard? Or does any of this even matter? Am I strong enough to keep going? Or at 2 a.m., right? When your thoughts feel louder than your life. How am I going to fix this? When will this get better? Why do I feel so alone? What if I can't hold it all? What if something has to change and I don't know how? And if that's you, I want you to take another breath. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not disqualified. You're human. You're human. I see you. I understand you. I hold space for you. I've held space for your year. And I also know that there's another group listening, right? Those of you who have had an extraordinary year, a year of breakthroughs and momentum and healing and unexpected courage, and a year where you even surprised yourself with what you were capable of. And if that's you, I want to honor that too. You're here because you're ready for that next level. You want deeper clarity and deeper impact and deeper purpose and more meaningful growth and relationships, right? You're ready to take your progress and to turn it into something lasting. This episode is for both of you. The tender and the rising, the rebuilding and the expanding. Because whether you're crawling into the new year or sprinting into it with fire, the same truth applies. And the truth is this: if there is even a whisper inside of you that says, I know there's something better, I know there's something more, even though I don't know how I could possibly take on one more thing, I want you to hear me. You can. You do have it in you. And the whisper itself is your proof, right? Your purpose is always the loudest when life tries the hardest to silence it. The fact that you're listening right now means a couple of things, right? It means that you haven't lost, right, the thread, that your vision isn't gone, that your calling isn't gone, that your capacity isn't gone, that your power isn't gone. It's just buried. And together, we're going to unbury it. So let today's episode be your hug, right? From me to you, your grounding moment, your reminder that nothing that you walked through last year disqualifies you. And your invitation into a year that doesn't just happen to you, but a year you consciously create. That is the invitation. So I want you to take a breath. And I want you to settle into yourself. And let's kind of go gently and bravely into this conversation that we're going to bring forward today. The world is shifting because as much as this episode is about comfort, it's also about calling. Not the loud kind of change your life overnight call, right? But the quieter one. The one you feel inside your chest, right? The one whispering, you're meant to lead. You're meant to rise. You're meant to be inspirational. You're meant for impact. You're meant for more. And that calling, that whisper, that nudge is what's happening right now. And it brings us to what's happening in the world right now. We are living in times, we're living in moments where the world is asking for a different kind of leadership, a different kind of leader, not positional leadership, not hierarchical leadership, not leadership that relies on titles and promotions, but identity leadership, emotional leadership, energetic leadership, conscious leadership. People don't follow information anymore. Have you noticed? They follow alignment. They follow coherence. They follow stability. They follow leaders whose internal world helps regulate their internal world. This era requires leaders with emotional maturity. It requires leaders with capacity. It requires leaders with clarity. It requires leaders with integrity. It requires leaders that have the ability to hold complexity without collapsing. And that kind of leadership is not accidental. It is built. It is built intentionally. And here's why this matters so much. Many of you listening already feel the call to lead or coach or help others, right? You're already doing it. I promise you, you are. But in so doing it, you also might feel unprepared. You might feel maybe even intimidated or unsure, or maybe even inconsistent in your efforts. Or maybe you feel kind of like you're fumbling through it. And I want to tell you something. If you're hearing this conversation and you feel the pull, right? The pull to become a more effective leader, not just for your teams, not just for your families, but for you, for your life. If you feel that pull, right? You're ready. You're ready. And I know what untrained leadership looks like. I know what untrained coaching looks like because I tried everything wrong first. I tried motivation instead of transformation. I tried pep talks instead of emotional regulation. I tried manifesting harder instead of identity work. I tried the feel good fluff instead of real frameworks for change. Repeatable, implementable, accessible, applicable frameworks for change. I tried strategies that looked really, really good online, but they don't actually change people's lives. They're a band-aid at best. And there are things out there that feel like progress that aren't. And I fell for a lot of them, right? That's why this conversation matters. So I want to talk about the truth about leadership and about coaching and why there is such an importance for this work. People are not inspired to be managed. No one woke up and thought, geez, I really hope somebody bosses me around today or manages me around. People want to be leveled up. They want to be coached up. They want to be led by a leader that they trust. This is a characteristic trait. This is a skill. This is an important attribute of what you want to create in your life. The legacy that you don't want to just necessarily leave, but live every single day. So that's why this conversation is important. And that's why it is the very first conversation that I'm bringing to you this year. We need more leaders and we need more coaches. We've got some million doctors, like physical doctors out there in the world. We don't have near enough. I think it was maybe tens of thousands of coaches, of leaders that actually can identify as a leader, identify as a coach. Until we have a million, we don't have enough, right? So anyone can truly call themselves a leader or a coach, right? Anyone can call themselves that. Anyone can repost quotes and call it wisdom. Anyone can lead from charisma and call it character. But real leadership, real coaching, it requires depth. It requires ethics. It requires skill. It requires maturity, presence, identity, emotional steadiness, tools, frameworks, and the ability to actually create transformation. And people can feel the difference. They can feel when someone is trained and when someone is guessing. And we need more trained leaders, not more noise. So if you've ever coached someone, even just once, even had that opportunity, whether you call it coaching or mentoring or leadership, right? If you've ever sat across from somebody and invited them into their potential, inspired their way into a possibility that they couldn't see, you know exactly why this matters. Because when someone sits across from you with their entire heart in their hands, you want to be equipped. You want to know how to hold them. You want to know how to lead them. And you want to be able to do it in a way that doesn't cause harm. Because leadership and coaching is a completely unregulated field. You can just go get a certification, $75, and call yourself a coach. And when that is not met with the amount of rigor and the amount of regulation and the amount of due process and care and integrity, we can do harm unintentionally. We can offer up perspectives and mindsets that they hadn't even considered. And now they're adopting our bogus beliefs because we didn't come into it with clean thinking. We didn't come into it with space. We didn't come into it knowing that there's no possible way we could know what is best for you. But our job isn't to know what's best for you. Our job is to access what you know is best for you and help you find it, map it, and roadmap it out. That's why I'm wicked excited to bring another level of leadership, another level of coaching by way of a certification, right? Certification, as I mentioned, isn't just a piece of paper. It's not, if you want that, go online, get a certification and call it good. But I am calling the leader that knows that good isn't good enough. I am calling forward that senior executive, that HR representative, that leader of their life, of their family. I'm calling that person that knows that this conversation, that one-on-one conversation where that person is holding their heart and their hope in their lap and knows that this moment is the make or break moment. This moment will either inspire a different identity and inspire a different level of consideration and possibility, or will just continue to double down on hopelessness and despair. This moment matters. This certification prepares you for this moment that matters. Right? This certification, it's about preparation. It's about embodiment. It's about internal and external alignment. It's about frameworks that work, similar frameworks to the ones that I tease out, that I teach out. But unless you're doing it, implementing it, integrating it, and practicing it, it's just me talking. It's about emotional mastery. It's about identity transformation. It's about all of the things that I've been talking about on this podcast, integrated into a course, into an opportunity, into a container, an ecosystem for real change. It's about holding space ethically, modeling leadership, transferring confidence. Organizations hire trained leaders. People trust trained leaders. Transformation requires trained leaders. This certification makes you a leader that is trustworthy, that is grounded and capable. And I want to soften this even more because this certification isn't just for coaches. It's not just for people that already coach to have just another certification in their tool bag. It's not just for the career contemplators that are like, maybe, people tell me that I'm a really good listener and I've maybe kind of thought about coaching and maybe this is the year I do that. It's not just for that. This is a human certification, right? Humans with a heartbeat. Humans with a heartbeat that wants to help another heartbeat. Humans who want to more effectively and inspirationally lead themselves so that they can better lead others. Humans who want more ease. Not because life is easy, but because they stop making it harder than it needs to be. And if you want to know about that, I did a podcast on it a couple of episodes ago. And that is what I believe makes this certification different. I rarely take my podcast time to bring forward invitations, but this one is different because this certification matters. It matters if you've been listening to me, and it also matters if this is the first time you've ever listened to me. You can go back to the hundreds of episodes I've done before this. I rarely invite you to something that we are working on. This is what we have been working on. This is the result of decades of study and practice and mastery and lived experiences. It brings together the best of coaching, the best of behavioral science and neuroscience and psychology and quantum principles, identity work, emotional mastery, right? You'll learn tools that are drawn from CBT and NLP and mindfulness and identity theory and emotional regulation and quantum coaching and leadership science, and the list goes on and on and on. And we offer and deliver you proprietary frameworks that you can use again to more effectively lead your life, because your life matters this year more than ever. More than ever. You deserve a recalibration of your leadership identity. You deserve it. And so when I say that this certification is for anyone with a heartbeat, I really mean that. It's for anyone that wants to help another heartbeat, their children's, their spouses, their teens, their families. Anyone who wants to break generational patterns, who wants to learn how to lead with compassion and to live with more ease, who wants to take their life more seriously, who have woke up in this new year and said, I don't want to miss it. Whether it's because of mortality motivation or just tired of rinsing and repeating and not even remembering what happened the day before. Again, real humans, tender humans, growing humans, humans who feel called. So if that is you, even if you're scared, even if you're unsure, even if you're doubting yourself, right? That invitation exists for you. I offered this up on the last episode, but it lingers in my mind and it holds tremendous space in my heart. It's a truth that just will not leave me alone. And I know that my trip to Dubai with my son Logan was not random. Dubai built the Palm in 6 years. And I shared this on the podcast last week. Out of water. I want you guys to think about that. Built the Palm, go find it, go look for it, go Google it, out of water and belief. I want you to think about that. If the vision had relied on motivation or momentum or everyone agreeing, it would still be water today. Possibility did not build the Palm, belief did. Leadership did. Identity did. So imagine, truly imagine for me, what could happen in your life with 1 year of belief and structure and support and identity work and the right tools. What could you build? What could you rewrite? What could you heal? What could you create? What could you become? This is your invitation, right? To turn the water of your life into whatever is in your heart. And if you don't know what that is yet, I promise you it's in there. We just have to clear enough of the noise to see it. My 2 words for this year, they're freedom and impact. Freedom in my identity, freedom in my leadership, freedom in my contribution, and impact, the kind that outlives me. This is the impact I promised myself. That impact to go from one to one to many to many to many. This is how we go many to many. We certify coaches in these tools, in these frameworks to go many to many. That's the impact that I promised my mom that I would bring into the world. The woman who let me, her belief, when I didn't have any of my own. And now I get to lend that belief to you. You are not alone. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not disqualified. This is your year. I don't care about your last year. That is not what's going to define this one. This is your possibility. This is your leadership. This is your palm. Let's do it together. Let's support one another as we build the life that we deserve. One conscious step at a time. Until next week, everybody, have a beautiful one. If you want to learn more about the certification, you can find it in the show notes. You can find it on our website. Work with us this year. Let us together work together to see what we're all capable of, because I think that would be a really great time. Have a beautiful one, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. If this episode cracked something open, good. Let it. And then head to leahrollingcoaching.com and grab the tools to rewire the story and reclaim your future. It is yours. And then share this with someone who's still waiting to be chosen, still waiting for permission, and remind them they don't need a breakthrough, that they are the breakthrough. Until next time, my beautiful friends, invest in you and keep becoming.